Hello everyone and welcome to another vlog. We have reading When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. This book has been very hyped up, which makes me very scared. So I'm going to be reading this, see how I feel, what I think. Also notice that we don't have our little bunnies in the frame. That's because I just realized that these are in the way of every video, and apparently I'm very oblivious. So I thought I'd move them so that they're not in my face. But yeah, if you're wondering what's different, that's what's different. And now you cannot unsee it. So this book, okay, so I'm really excited because I am buddy reading this with a couple of friends, which is really exciting. I just started doing buddy reads like the past maybe 2 months or something. So I'm excited. I am buddy reading this with Reese from The Writing Songbird. We're going to be reading this throughout all of June, and also with Shaylee. She is on Instagram. So yes, I'm buddy reading this with some friends. I will link them down below, and you can go follow them. Hopefully links work in my description box, because sometimes it doesn't. I have read 3 chapters. I do have the physical book. Okay, so I have the physical book. I also have the ebook from KU. So yes, I have this. I got this months ago from, there was a used copy at Bigger Book House, and I definitely would never have picked this up if it wasn't talked about online so much. But I did, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling dangerous. Let's read this. So, for the past in May, if you've been following along, I've been feeling dangerous. In June, I'm feeling a little less dangerous, so now I'm scared to read this. 3 chapters in, what do I think? So reading the first chapter, I was not feeling it at all. The writing style just feels really dry to me. And then we get this cameo, you could call it, from Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. I was not expecting that. They just straight up showed up and started talking, and I was like, wow, one of these books. Okay, well, that felt a little cringy to me personally. George Washington and Thomas Jefferson being in there. I was like, how historically accurate are we doing? I don't really do history. I'm a math person. I'm not a history person at all. Do not ask me to name where countries are either. I cannot do geometry. No, sorry, geography. I can do geometry just fine. Geography, I cannot do. Here we go. Okay, so some of my thoughts. I'm having a hard time getting into this book at all. I'm not feeling it. The writing style, it just feels really dry to me. And I'm a little bit bored, but there are some things that are starting to happen that I find interesting, and there's a lot of suspicious people. Thankfully, I have not had anything spoiled. All I know is there's a big plot twist, and so my brain is going crazy trying to figure out what this plot twist is. I've only gotten 3 chapters in, but at this point, I'm like, everyone is a time crosser, okay? Everyone in this book is a time crosser. Everyone's an evil person secretly. That's what it feels like, because everyone's being so suspicious. That's something we've talked about in the group chat. Everyone is suspicious at this point. Did I have thoughts about chapter 2? I don't even. She's being forced to marry someone, which always does not feel great. I've never been forced to marry someone, but I can imagine that just is a little bit stressful. Oh, I do want to mention this video will have spoilers, so do not watch this if You have not read the book. Read the book, come back. I'll give you a bunch of spoilers, okay? That you have already read. Um, I'm laughing because that's I'm laughing because I typed my notes onto my phone on Google Keep, and so I'm opening Google Keep up on my computer, and I typed the word Libby because that's the name of the main character, and it auto corrected to hubby. So it says feels. It didn't auto correct the second time. It auto corrected the first time. So it says feels like hubby's mom knows something Libby doesn't. It's supposed to be feels like Libby's mom knows something Libby doesn't. So that is something that so Libby's biological birth mom, I'm sure, yeah. There's something fishy going on with that. She's acting really sus, as the kids say. It's her mom, the 1700s one. She definitely knows something that Libby doesn't. There's something weird going on with the mom. Um, so And I just found it so weird that Libby just keeps telling her mom about everything going on in her own life. I feel like that's kind of like personal, but I feel like that's gonna bite her in the back at some point, just like ranting about her other life. Because at some point we're gonna figure out, oh, her mom is actually evil, and so she's actually relying on information that her mom should not know. Um, Apparently, I have a theory. I think I just came up with a theory. It's not a good one, but it's a theory. Um, so either I typed her name wrong or autocorrected. I have more thoughts that I wrote down. Because it says, poor Lobby. Everywhere she goes, she's forced into marriage. That's supposed to say Libby, not Lobby. I think my phone has a problem with her name. But yeah, like both almost said time zones, time lines. There's someone wanting to force her into marriage, which is unfortunate. Um, Oh, in chapter 3, Louis, I I'm assuming that's how you say his name. The gross, supposedly gross guy who is wanting her to marry him for to help her with the printing business thing. He said the "as you wish" quote, and I thought that was very very important to point out that there's some Princess Bride correlations. So yes, there's the "as you wish" quote in here. I was not expecting that. Um. Oh, and then I have a bunch of really bad theories. I'm only 3 chapters in, but I was like, there's probably something going on with Henry. He's a little too good. We can't have a character who's too good. Another theory is Henry is a time crosser, So right now, Libby, she's like, oh, I'm 100%. I'm going to choose the 1700s timeline, which we've all discussed. Obviously, she's going to end up picking the other timeline. Something's going to happen. And she's like, oh, I actually want to go to the 1900s. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen that makes her switch her mind. This is what's going to happen. She's going to end up marrying Louis for like her printing business or whatever. Anyway, she marries Louis. She's sad. In the other time zone, she gets matched up with someone else. And this guy is secretly Henry, but like the second Henry, the time crosser Henry. So Henry's in two worlds. She ends up finding the other Henry in the other time zone. Again, another horrible theory, but Gabrielle Meyer, if you want me to write your next book, I'm here. We'll do one on the era of Albert Einstein. Will She meets Albert Einstein, obviously, for one of the timelines. I could do a whole thing on that. Um, may or may not be a fan of a certain Albert Einstein, and no, never mind. We're not going to list all of the scientists that I'm a big fan of. But, oh, also, Henry, he might end up being a bad guy. She is a little head over heels for Henry. So, obviously, we need a lot of drama. He's going to end up being evil. And I'm going to end up enjoying that. So, that's, lesson learned. Do not fall for a guy. They're all evil. That's my... If I were to write a book, that's really depressing, actually. But, it's I want a Frozen plot where it's like, you think a guy is really good and he ends up being evil, and then the guy who's like kind of scrappy ends up being a good guy. That's what I want in this book, or maybe in other books, but like, that's what I want in this book. I don't think they're gonna give that to me. Yeah, so I've only read 3 chapters, so those are my thoughts. I'm hoping to have more updates. How much I can film in June, I don't know. Oh, I do want to mention that I thought this was really funny. In the chat, I mentioned that everyone is suspicious in this book, and so it's going to be one of those situations where everyone's evil, everyone is a time crosser, and it's secretly the Truman Show. So I don't know how the author's going to do that, but that's what's going to happen. I figured it out. So I'll give more updates as to how I feel. Right now, I'm having fun coming up with theories, but for the book itself, I'm not into it. I know there's a big plot twist coming up, and I'm trying to figure out what this plot twist is. All I know is that her mom is really suspicious. So, when in doubt, it's the mom, apparently. Yeah, I'm honestly not feeling the book, but I do like coming up with theories. So, yes, I will give more updates as we read more. Hello everyone, it is now June 9th. Update on reading. I don't really have many thoughts, to be honest. I am bored of this book. It's been hard to get me motivated to really read it, just because I don't care. And I feel like in this book there's things that are happening, but they don't have much substance. I don't know if that makes sense, but I still find the writing to be dry, and I'm having a hard time getting motivation to read it, but I am reading it. And I read through chapter 9. Don't have many thoughts. In chapter 8, it mentioned that, like, the time travelers, their actions can change the path of history. And so I, came up with a prediction that she's going to choose the 1910s life, or I guess, what do you call that, path, and then end up starting World War I. It's inevitable. I also don't know if I really like Henry. He is giving so many mixed signals. Mixed signals are like, I can't even deal with that. I would, mostly in like my personal life, I have a hard time when people give mixed signals about things, and like we all do, but like Henry, okay. Libby and Henry like each other. Henry is going to be marrying someone else or whatever. Henry is like, oh. Also, Henry is really. There's so many suspicious things going on, like characters. Like, he is probably spying on someone or spying for someone. He's doing something for the American Revolution thing. History. I'm not a history person, but something to do with, American Revolution. He's sleuthing, he's probably spying, whatever. So the rumors say. And he's like, I need to separate myself from you, from Libby, in order to protect you. So I need to leave you. And then he proceeds to go to her 20th birthday party. and say a bunch of like sappy things to her, including holding her hand. And I'm like, can you just leave? You said you have to leave, so go ahead and just leave. Why are you coming back? Like, the mixed signals. If you say something, mean it and do it. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Henry. He's just like, I don't know. I don't know what's up with him. But I said it was June 9th. It is actually June 10th. I thought today was the 9th. The time is going by fast, so it's actually June 10th. I keyword try to get a video out every 2 weeks. So I need to start editing part 2 of reading romance for a month. I have the clips, of course, it's June, so I have all the clips from May, but I need to actually edit and get that video out. So maybe I'll work on that today. I want to do a lot of reading today. So other books I'm also reading. I am reading Anne of Green Gables as well. Loving that book. Not Green Gables. Anne of Avonlea. I finished that one. I'm reading Anne of Avonlea, and then I'm doing a buddy read of Life Flight by Lynette. Shoot, I don't know the author. Is it Lynette Easton? Or is it Blackburn? I don't remember the author, but I'll put the picture of it. I'm also reading that. And then, yeah, I think I'm only reading those 3 books right now. I might start a 4th one up. I'm going to visit the library this week. Hello, everyone, and I have an update for chapter 10 and 11. And I guess previous. I had a really long day today. I worked all day. This morning I had a little bit of a crisis, but then I got averted, and then I went to work, and it was so busy. And yeah, there was a lot going on. And then I got here and took a shower. I'm in my pajamas now. When I give an update, so I have thoughts on 10 and 11. First off, I'm still not feeling this book. The writing style does not feel engaging to me at all, and it feels kind of dry and like it's just telling me things and none of it really matters. Or like it's just telling and I'm like, so what? So I know off the bat this book is going to get a low rating, but I do want to talk about 10 and 11. I do not like Mother Wells. She blackmailed Libby into marrying Reggie, and like, so something weird was going on where Mother Wells was like getting really sick suddenly, and it was really suspicious, and then she gets blackmailed into saying yes to Reggie. What's this? Reggie. And so Mother Wells is like, well, you gotta marry him or else our namesake is like destroyed, because I don't know, I don't remember what happened, but basically if you don't marry him, our family is ruined. And so she says yes, and then right after she says yes, she's suddenly better. She's like, she's happy, she's not laying in bed. She's like, it's so weird and so like manipulative. Like, I don't even know how she pulled it off. Like, how did she get so frail and everything? And then suddenly, right as Libby says, okay, I'll do it, then like everything's all good, nothing happened. And I'm also worried about cheating. It feels really weird. This is also something that Reese brought up in our group chat, is I'm guessing it's going to go through and she's going to marry Reginald, what's his full name? Reggie. I'm just gonna call him that. But then she'll be married. In one timeline, she'll be married to him, but in the other timeline, she's in love with Henry. So that feels really weird because she's the same person. It's not like she's changing. Yes, she's living different timelines, but she's the same person, and she's waking up and sleeping in different time zones, and it's like every other day. So it's kind of like it's not her. She's living one life just in two different places, and it just feels. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that if she's married, and then if she still really likes Henry and they want to marry, then what if she's married to two different people? That feels weird to me. I don't really like that. I wrote down notes. Chapter 11, we find out why her mom, her like birth mom, decided the timeline that she did. And it has to do because she was pregnant with Libby, and so she decided to stay for the baby. And so that was really interesting because it did seem like she liked the other timeline better. So it's like, well, then why did she choose the one that she did? And it's like, oh, it's because of Libby. And so her mom was saying like she might end up choosing the 1900s because she might get pregnant and have her own baby. Just this whole thing is weird, and also felt a little like feminist. I don't know, because they're kind of like, oh, don't get married, or it's like, oh, if you get married then you're stuck, like you're trapped type of thing. That's how it felt to me. But then at the same time, marriage was encouraged too, because her mom's saying she doesn't regret her decision and she loves Libby and ended up working out. But the messaging feels kind of weird. It's like, push off the wedding because then you're going to be married to someone and you aren't going to really have a choice as to what timeline you choose. And also you might have your own baby, and then for sure you're stuck in that timeline. And so it just, the messaging feels really kind of weird to me. Like it's discouraging getting married, but also it's not. It feels a little weird to me. So I hope you guys can hear me. I have another update. I read up to chapter 17. I wrote down some of my notes because they are on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone. I didn't write much down, but there is something that I did have an opinion on, which is Libby. She is hoping she doesn't get pregnant in her 1900s timeline, and she finds out that she's not, and so she's like celebrating, and then she goes to her other timeline and she's like, Mom, I have really good news, and she tells her about that, and that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I understand, like, I know there's a context for it, and I know there's a context, but still her celebrating that she's not having a baby was a little weird for me. In general, I feel like Libby really needs character development. I'm sorry, the lighting is really weird. She just really needs character development, and I'm really hoping she gets it because Libby is annoying me. Henry is annoying me too. And then I'm also hoping that Reggie gets character development and ends up being a good person. I feel like there's a lot of room for him to grow and for him to be something different. So I'm really hoping that he ends up being a decent person, and then she'll want to stay. Um, we don't really see much of Reggie after the marriage, though, which is interesting because I thought we would see his character development, but we're not really getting that. So, I don't know, I wanted to see a little bit more of Reggie, unless he's not a big part of the book. In general, things are starting to pick up in the book a little bit. It's starting to get interesting because for the majority, I just could care less. I feel like there's a lot of just like filler or just like talking about things, not like specifically dialogue, but like just chatter. And none of it really matters, but things are starting to get a little bit interesting. I'm hoping that it gets engaging. Things are looking up for Libby, though, being at Cumberland Hall. She's kind of taking control and she's growing more comfortable, which is a good sign. There was one quote that I wanted to read, and it was not hard to feel linked to Cumberland Hall. I had never felt so at home anywhere other than Williamsburg, nor so in control of my own comings and goings. Something about the sea and the moors and the house captivated my imagination like nothing ever had before. So she's starting to like Cumberland Hall. I'm waiting for what this big plot twist is. Because I mentioned that she said, "Oh, I picked the 1700s." And she's really like adamant about the 1700s, but there's probably going to be something where she chooses the other timeline. Hopefully it's not depressing just because she has a baby, so like she has to. I want it to be out of choice. But she's also so in love with Henry, and Henry is going to be part of it somehow. So it's hard, honestly, it's hard to know what's going to happen. Like I mentioned to the others, like I don't even know what's going to happen in the end because there are so many directions it could go. I just hope this whole book is not depressing. Hello everyone, we have finished the book. I have notes. I have a bunch of things to say. First off, I do want to say I had such a fun time buddy reading this. Even though I didn't enjoy the book, I enjoyed discussing it with Shaylee and Reese, and it was really fun being able to buddy read this, especially since this was a book that I did not have high hopes for because, well, let's just say I typically am the odd one out when it comes to hyped books. And I wasn't quite sure how I would like this book, and so being able to buddy read it was really nice. And I know that Reese was also hesitant to read this book as well, and so I'm glad we could read this. All three of us. That was a lot of fun. And I'm gonna say some things. No hate to the author at all. Like, this is a book that I feel like you could get a lot of discussion from, and I feel like this is a good book to buddy read because there's certain things that are open to discussion and making predictions and all that. So I feel like this series is a good one to buddy read. So I think this is chapter 18 till the end. I don't remember how many chapters there were. So I was talking about how I really wanted Libby to get character development, and she does get some character development. Not really until the end, which is disappointing, but she did get some character development. She was beginning to kind of take charge at Cumberland Hall, and also um, began to like love her pregnancy, or like love the baby and grow protective over her baby. And I just felt like there was character development happening, which was about due. Um, I was not expecting Reggie to die. I gasped really loud when that happened, because we don't see him too much in the book, or at least with his when they're married, we don't really see Reggie that much. And so I was kind of hoping to see him more, because I wanted to see his character development, but we didn't really see him. We didn't really see his character development, and then he just dies. So I personally found that really disappointing, and I was not expecting that. To me, that felt like the plot twist was him dying. Um, and I unfortunately did not care for the ending with what's his name? Henry being a time crosser. So at the beginning, like after I read 3 chapters, I mentioned in the update the idea of Henry being a time crosser. And I said this, but I said this because it kind of like it made sense, because what do the readers want? The readers want Libby and Henry to be together, and if they can't be together in the 1700s, they're going to be together in the 1900s. The only way that that can happen is Henry is also a time crosser. So that's an idea I came up with, but I was not expecting the author to actually do it. I never really thought about it again after that. Because I was like, there's no way the author would actually make Henry a time crosser too. That's just weird. Um, and then she did. I was not shocked by the ending, because it was an idea that kind of like floated through my head. I was, however, shocked by the fact that she actually wrote that in her book, because I was not expecting her to do that. To me, Henry being a time crosser feels like such a cop out, and it wasn't a shocking ending to me. Um, yeah, I didn't really like. Yeah, again, it just felt like a cop out, and I have opinions about the ending that I don't know. It went a direction that I personally did not like, but at the same time, I don't hate the ending, because I don't know how I would have done it myself. Like if I were writing this book, I don't know how like an ending I would write, because we could have her with Reggie, but who knows if Reggie would have been a good guy. I mean, like I could have like you could write that in the book, like showing his character development and how he ends up actually being a good person. Maybe I would have liked that ending better if we would have seen Reggie actually being misunderstood. Like I'm not saying anything he did was okay. I'm not saying that at all, but he was misled, being told that Libby wanted to marry him when Libby actually didn't want to marry him, and he was told that Libby did, and that she really was excited for the wedding. So he was misled in that way. I think I would have liked seeing just like his character development, and then I feel like it would have been more shocking if Libby ended up with Reggie instead of Henry, because it kind of shows that would have been a different way to trust God's plan, is he actually has something different than what you wanted, or maybe not wanted, but something different. He has what you want, and but differently. That makes sense. Um, Henry said he was fighting his love for her because he knew he would die. No, you didn't, dude. You kept saying you loved her and was kissing her. It's true. Yeah, so Henry was like, oh yeah, I had to fight my love for you because I knew I was going to die. Did it ever say why he chose the other timeline? The non-1700s? I don't remember if it actually said or not. Maybe it said that and I missed it, but I was like, why did he choose the other timeline? Was it because he was like in the espionage world, so he knew it was dangerous? I don't know. But yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm finding my love for you." No, he was not. He kept, he was confessing his love. He kept kissing her. He like no, he was not fighting. He put it on his sleeve. That, but what else did I write? I wrote, even though I didn't like the ending, I'll admit it was interesting. The faith was really good. The premise of this book was so good and creative. I personally did not connect with the way the book was written and specifically the writing style. Yeah, so I really liked the premise of this book, the idea behind it at the time, living two different timelines and going back and forth between the two. I really liked that. It's just the way that it was written and executed I did not enjoy. I found it written to be kind of boring. And I felt like it was kind of a lot of chatter, just like saying things, but none of it really mattered. It didn't really get interesting until towards the end. So I liked the idea. I didn't like the execution of it, like the way it was written. I had a hard time like being interested in reading it. Reggie, this is another thing I wrote. Reggie had so much room for character development, and he was given a son. Yes, he did despicable things, but he was growing. I was excited to see his character development, and then he was killed off. So, yeah, that was really disappointing to me. Another reason why I felt like the ending wasn't shocking is because we get what I say we, the readers generally get what they wanted, or at least Libby gets. That's what I should say. Libby gets exactly what she wanted. She wanted to be with Henry, and I mean, I'm not saying it's bad to get what you want, but I feel like I could have been more creative. I liked the way that the faith was written in with learning to trust God. I thought that was one way of doing faith. I feel like another way of doing faith is, learning to trust God and showing that the path of life might be different than what you expect. Which I guess with the ending, it was different than what she was expecting. But I feel like it could have been even different. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Oh, here's a big paragraph I wrote. Let me read this. At the beginning, she knows she will choose the 1700s. I was waiting for for something big to happen where she despises the 1700s and ends up wanting the 1900s as some sort of plot twist. But instead, she hates the 1900s the whole time. She only chooses the 1900s because she is forced to through the pregnancy, and I found that depressing. At the end of the book, she had a great character development and was growing comfortable at Cumberland Hall, where she apologizes, and I was hoping to see his character development. But he was gone pretty much the whole marriage and suddenly dies. I felt like everything was growing, and I felt like the growing and the development of the book died alongside Reggie. Wow. So all in all, I did end up giving this 2 stars. I have not put it on Goodreads because I didn't want to spoil what I read. Though just in general, I am very behind on Goodreads reviews, so I'm hoping to catch up with those. But I'm hoping to put up a Goodreads review. It definitely will not be as detailed as this vlog. I did like the idea behind it, and I am going to be reading the second book. I want to try out the second book. Maybe I'll like that one better than this one. I don't know when, but at some point I do want to read the second book. Because it is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'll probably try that at some point. And again, I'm not hating on this book. This is just how I felt, and I do encourage people to read it. Ta-da! If I do read the second book, I'm not going to do a vlog on that one. And also, if I do want to DNF the second book, I'm not going to force myself not to DNF it. Like I'm not gonna force myself to read it if I'm still not feeling it. So, but I am hoping I like the second one. I feel like this is a book that people are gonna have different opinions on. Like a lot of people have loved this book and given it 5 stars. I look at my Goodreads and all the people that I am following on there. And so many people have given it 5 stars, like across like different reading preferences, like people who have different preferences and what they read, like genres and all that. Even like across that, people have given it like 5 stars. So yeah, it was really interesting reading this. I did enjoy the experience behind reading this was fun. Let me know what you guys thought of this book, and if you have any hot takes yourself, because I don't want to be the only one giving hot takes. Thanks for watching, and hopefully the next video is the Q&A. I'm hoping. I'm getting very slow with recording those questions and answers, but yeah.